Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Shekhar Iyer, and today I have with me Shekhar Iyer I Who, veteran journalist. But before I hand over the control to him, I just want you to like this video and also please like, share and subscribe to our channel so that we can grow even faster than what we are right now growing at. So let's welcome Shekhar Iyer I Who. Shekhar sir, namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Nice to be back. And greetings to all your viewers.
Thank you, sir. And viewers, as you may know, last weekend I was in New Delhi releasing my book, Who Killed SSR? And it has been a roaring success. We've had excellent reception from you. Many of you have commented, and I made one inadvertent error where I have actually corrected it by way of tweet. I just wanted to let you know I'm not filled with ego. This mistake somehow crept into the print version also. So wherever you see Karan, read Abhay. Thank you very much. And Shekhar ji, today, first question to you. This BBC video, and this is only a first of many that I'm told are going to come spaced out over a period of weeks. Do you think it actually helps or hurts Modi? And also, if let's say, you just tell me what you think, who is it going to hurt, who is it going to help?
Well, sir, a subject like this, particularly the Gujarat riots of 2002, if you recall, Congress took a decision after Modi's first victory in 2002 and then 7. They realized that Gujarat riots is a chapter they should never rake it up. Because, until finally when Modi reached Delhi as the prime ministerial candidate, they realized the folly of, hounding him on this issue. The UPA government did their best to find something to, put him behind bars. There was a CBI inquiry, there was an SIT, Supreme Court monitored thing, and then there was the Nanavati Commission, which was also inquiring. But after after several rounds of investigation and matters at every aspect, of the investigation and the report was challenged in the Supreme Court. The agencies were asked to go back and dig up more evidence. When they could find none directly linking the Prime Minister with those unfortunate riots, then finally the SIT decided to close there was a closure report. And Supreme Court accepted that and said, look, there is no evidence. Now, the again matter was brought up this year in July, if you recall. The matter came up again. And the Supreme Court saw no reason for reopening it. Now, this being the case, suddenly you find this is not a BBC's own production. They decide to air this thing done by somebody else, and that too not as a regular breaking news, because they claim they have got some evidence and fresh evidence. Nothing of that kind. Rather, they run it on the platform and not as a regular breaking news on their channel, and restricted to audience in UK. Now, given all this, that seems to be the reason why now. And of course, what has happened is, the government of India decided to ban it in India. You can't watch it here. They blocked it. Now, that particular decision has been, questioned by many people who feel, why was it necessary? Do you have to go thus far? Was it necessary to do this? Now, the government stand was, look, the whole idea is to again bring back this subject and, again bring that Muslim victimhood in India under Modi dispensation, and then play it up through the year, a year where there is going to be the G20 summit. Already several meetings are taking place. There are events, 200 plus events in more than 50 plus cities. Now, all this is happening, and finally it will culminate with the G20 leaders arriving in India in September. Now, the government's fear was that this could be used to stoke violence in different parts of the country. Then, all those human rights organizations will step in and start appealing to leaders to, not to go to the summit, or create unrest everywhere. So the government's fear was, you block it at this stage, lest you have another Shine kind of event happening, coinciding with, the G20 summit, just as the Shine peaked when Trump was here, and so also the Delhi riots. So there has been a pattern. I mean, when the Modi took over as PM, there were attacks on churches. The first year itself, to show that, look, minorities are in trouble. And the usual, the West's indignation over these incidents, and, the freedom of religion in danger in India, and all that started. But finally, when the culprits were caught, the whole thing stopped. So this hate business, I feel there is an industry of hate business, which is just to keep so that the narrative picks up. Now this time, after the Gujarat elections, which saw a phenomenal mandate for the BJP, for the Prime Minister, this has been resorted to. Now I think, and since then, what are you seeing is there is a frenzy which has gripped the opposition and their student wings and their affiliates, trying to make a big deal about it as if something new has come up. But opposition, I think, rather feels that there are no other issues to rally around, or that they have to again pick up, or they are fighting among themselves for the Muslim vote or for the minority vote. Take, for instance, Kerala Pradesh Congress Committee decided to screen it in Thiruvananthapuram, in the beach. And why is KPCC doing it in Kerala? Because Congress is losing Muslim votes to CPM. CPM, which was earlier seen as Hindu party, has started cultivating the minority votes ever since Pinarayi Vijayan's second term. And even in the last election, he had put up a number of independents who happen to belong to the minority community. And there is a fear that IUBL is losing sheet, and there is some secret understanding with organizations like SDPI, which is actually the political face of the banned PFI. So there is a lot of things happening in preparation to the Lok Sabha elections in 2024. But the question is, why did the Modi government decided to make it big? Because otherwise this would have died, as it is already losing, steam. Perhaps the buzz in Delhi is that probably the BJP strategist wanted that this should get a lot of attention, and ultimately the gain goes to the BJP. Because if you are going to talk about riots, if you are going to talk about, then the whole thing comes. It starts with the burning down of the coach of Sabarmati Express. Because this documentary also doesn't talk about it. And also, by both the part series is again an attempt, not a very professional attempt, to appear to as if coming with new evidence or evidences, but there is nothing new in it. But the fact that it has generated so much of attention, and the media attention too, and with the opposition leaders, going over the script again, I sense this is that Maut Ka Saugar moment revisiting. If you are going to use this against Prime Minister, it suits him well, and he chooses his own time to respond to this kind of accusation against him. And sir, one more thing, this is coming after Prime Minister specially appealed to the BJP groups, not to target films like this Pathaan, or and also go for an outreach. Already the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh has done 2 rounds of outreach. The first was led by Sarsang Chalak Mohan Bhagwat himself, where he met some of the Muslim intellectuals from different sections and tried to explain what is the Sangh's approach. And it was made very clear that the Sangh is not against Muslims. The Muslims have nothing to fear. Again, I believe there was another round of discussions between the second level RSS leaders and the same group of leaders, also from some of them from the Muslim religious organizations also. Now, at one level you find this, the other level you see this. Now, this controversy over this Besharam song in Pathaan movie, it was initially started, and there are people like that Madhya Pradesh Home Minister who finally received rather the Prime Minister appeared to upbraid people like him, Narottam Mishra, for unnecessarily making a big deal about the color of the bikini worn by Deepika Padukone in that film. Now, the film is, first 2 days, I believe it has done commercially well, and the producers are happy, Shah Rukh Khan is happy, and of course, our intellectual friends think that this is people have the film has succeeded because the color of the bikini was saffron. Well, it is nothing to do with that. I think the audience has got a masala film, the typical masala film, because the review of the film in most newspapers is not very positive about the film in terms of cinematic, content. But our intellectuals, they want to feel that if the film is succeeding because of the opposition to the color of the bikini.
Couple of things that came up. I tried to put my finger up because I'll forget by the time you finish it to get the real words. Sir, the BJP government, no, not BJP, the CPIM government, they don't need to solicit Muslim support, sir. The Damad of Mr. Vijayan is a CPM guy, he's a Muslim with dubious links to PFI and SDPI. And nobody seems to have a problem with it, including the Congress there. I mean, I'm telling you, these politicians are, they don't think with their head. I don't know where they think from. Anyway, that's a matter for a different day and different topic. Viewers, please use the hashtag #AskShekhar to send in your questions. We'll take about 5 or 6 questions because there's a lot I want to discuss. I want to still stay on this topic. 2 things I want to confirm with Shekhar ji. First one with a yes or no. The winner of this BBC assault, Modi or others?
Sir, it will be Modi and the BJP, because this is an issue. If this is an issue that BJP cannot lose, because there is a history to the communal tensions of Gujarat, and interestingly, in Gujarat itself, people have put these riots, behind their, it's back of their memory now, because it's an unfortunate thing that happened, and Muslim leaders of Gujarat and also some leading Muslim, writers and professors, they have written articles saying, look, we don't want to be reminded of those period. It's like, going back to 1947. So, because Gujarat has moved ahead. And the answer, there are certain facts about those riots. See, after the killing of innocent, the car savaks who were returning from Ayodhya, the coach was set on fire. And if you recall, during that time, Lalu Prasad Yadav, leaders like Lalu Prasad, they even questioned this. He even set up a commission of inquiry to prove that this is an accidental fire. This is a fire which it could have been accidental fire, or the probably a petrol bomb was thrown from outside into the coach. Whereas, there has been attempts to always show that the riots were pre-planned and they had nothing to do with Sabarmati, this coach express. Now, if all these theories get revisited, sir, I think the people will realize that it is again going to help. And the whole idea seems to be, sir, the fact that now trying to organize student unrest in universities, like it was done in Shaheen Bagh, sir, this is a typical toolkit of those radical left groups, which are hoping that somehow create a situation of anarchy, which will make the voters, particularly the middle class voters in, urban cities, to start hating BJP, because there are other issues which the voter could be upset with BJP. Well, this could, there is a law and order problem, and with Modi it's trouble, and this is the only 1 year they have got, because so far the indications, we have had even poll surveys, opinion polls, which are showing even if the elections were held today, the BJP could very well cross that the required majority mark of 272. So therefore, I think there is a lot of frustration. There is a lot of a desperation. And you can see that, the way the whole thing is being organized. And as far as Sir Pinarayi Vijayan, sir, the problem in Kerala is this time Congress is left with no issues in Kerala, and it is losing the Muslim voters to CPM. Because previously the CPM used to cultivate a big chunk of the Hindu vote, particularly the Arava community support, some Nair community support. It was always believed the Hindu party. Even during the height of, the secularism politics of this country, quote unquote, CPM always in Kerala took a position. It changed during the Sabarimala controversy, when Pinarayi Vijayan decided to enforce that first order of the Supreme Court to allow women to go to the temple. And that was a big backlash, and they realized the mistake. So when the assembly elections came, Pinarayi changed the tune, decided, well, he should now cultivate the Muslim votes so that he can defeat the Congress. And they have succeeded. And today, Congress being the shape it is in particularly in Kerala, despite that Yatra spending so many days. Sir, otherwise you tell me the shock delivered by A.K. Antony's son, Anil Antony. He has said all his father wanted to say. He said, why is it talking about Hindus or, or anything to do with, an issue concerning a large section of people in this country is taken as communal politics. Whereas actually trying to propagate or support those extremist ideas, which are by very nature politically communal, is never condemned in Kerala. Why is it so? Now, sir, we all know that, after the drubbing that Congress got in 2014 elections, A.K. Antony wrote that report, some kind of a post-mortem report, which said the problem with the Congress is it has, from being a centrist party, it has moved on and away from its centrist goals, and also adopted secularism as if it is the only bulwark in this country that the Congress should be pursuing. And the net result, the Congress getting projected as anti-Hindus. He mentioned it. Now the same thing the son has echoed. And A.K. Antony, sir, he is one of the loyalists of the Sonia Gandhi family. If his son today feels the Congress under the stewardship of Rahul Gandhi, apart from that, Chudavi Hindu, that is during election time visiting some temples, otherwise has always taken position, which makes one wonder, why is Congress resorting to this kind of vote bank politics? And in Kerala, what they fear, despite that vote bank politics, they are losing votes. Those particular votes.
Sir, my second question to you is whether, as a journalist, you welcome or do not welcome the ban imposed on BBC's coverage by the government. I'll tell you why, sir. Last 18 months, since Biden has been in office, there was one book called Red Handed, which essentially said that Joe Biden is corrupt. His son has taken up to $32 million bribes on behalf of his father. I mean, that is just one part. There's also a Ukrainian company that this Hunter Biden was a director of. All I'm trying to say is there are 4 or 5 huge scandals. Every one of them, the president's name has been dragged in the mud. I also had a few programs on this where we talked about the content from that book. We didn't level any allegations on our own. We just said that these are the allegations against the Biden administration, Biden himself, also Nancy Pelosi, the then House Majority Speaker. Everyone, I mean, nobody is kept, even some Republicans also. All we were trying to do was look at the book and, cover some chapters because nobody wants to read a big, thick book anymore. My point is that Biden didn't get flustered. He just let them do whatever it is. And today, there is an investigation that now that the House is Republican controlled, they are investigating Hunter Biden's finances. They claim that they have some checks which have been deposited by Hunter Biden into a Wells Fargo bank account. This is as damning as it gets, sir. My point in saying all this is the US president doesn't feel that he needs to put a kibosh on these things. Why did the Modi government do it, sir?
I agree with you, sir. I too feel maybe this was not necessary because the docu-series would have died its natural death. Nobody would have thought about it. But my understanding is twofold. One is they probably did not want, because sir, India is different from the United States. The problem here is the people use all these things and then they create images, then they use the social media to again stoke tension in communally sensitive areas. And here the idea is to show, in a year when you are having international leaders coming here, that India is a land of Hindu-Muslim riots. Because the same thing happened when Trump was here. The whole idea was to see somehow that, so that the American institutions, American bodies, American watchdogs, they start, screaming about India. And Prime Minister Modi finds it, it hurts his image. The same thing was planned. Otherwise, if you ask me personally, I think the government wanted to show its strongest disapproval and there was no other way they could express it. Of course, the MEA statement was there, but this is a situation. I think they felt that there was some problem. If you allow this to go, that it could be used to, fan communal problem. And in many parts, because already the fault lines, what has happened is that, sir, no doubt in the last 10 years there has been an assertion of rights by Hindu groups, and we are already seeing a sense that, look, this government is trying to restore some of those, what I would call, trying to restore the things that were given up for the simple reason that it would hurt non-Hindus. And those are being changed, and this is upsetting people. Like for today, the Rashtrapati Bhavan, the president, the Draupadi Murmu, has renamed the Mughal Gardens as, Amrit Udayan. So the Mughal Garden, of course, the Rashtrapati Bhavan Mughal Garden was created in the early 1912 or so, when the Viceroy's house was built. And the Lady Hardinge then, who was, she probably wanted something on the lines that used the Mughal architecture, at least for the gardens. And that is how it got to be called Mughal Gardens. And today, it's a decision, I think, taken by the government and announced by the Rashtrapati Bhavan, where it says, look, this place will get a new thing. And the whole idea is to show we are getting out of that colonial mindset, the colonial, the hangover, as it were. Now, this is one. Then today, this time in the Republic Day parade, you saw several, tableaux, which were all, portraying some of the traditional, the culture, whether it is Kamakya temple or whether it is, because the theme was Nari Shakti. You had even a Durga Puja, pandal as a part of the tableau this time. Of course, somebody counted, there were at least 8 or 9 depiction of Hindu images or Hindu representation or Hindu symbols. Because previously, it was all right to display, any other culture, but not the Hindu one. At least show it suppressed, because lest it hurt someone. So you are already seeing some kind of an assertion, and by BJP leaders, no doubt, because the BJP is using it. I mean, for elections or for re-election, but they feel that at least this should be known as their USP. That, and also the attempt. So you have seen another thing. Whenever heads of state come, they come on state visit. They invariably, their itinerary included a trip to Taj Mahal, because it has always fascinated them as one of the wonders. But today you find a lot more places are added. Why not the Pragadishwara temple in Tanjavur?
Yes,
and already
yes.
And where
It is
you were
so
recently
majestic.
there.
Yes, majestic.
And already in Delhi, you have a very modern new temple, that is Akshardham. And the British Prime Minister came there, Australian Prime Minister went there, because these are all showing our traditional system. And when we say that, why should we be shy? Very often, the people say you should say it the Hindu heritage. You should call it Bharatiyata or Bharati heritage. Okay. The nomenclature may be a problem, because if you say Hindu, but the fact remains, these are virasat of the Hindu, culture. You cannot say. But so therefore, the fear was, look, on one side there is an assertion. On the other side, if this kind of thing again, goes, look, the Muslims are in danger, because, sir, gradually, those who are opposed to Modi realize that the fear among Muslims about Modi or the BJP is not what it used to be earlier. Because there are several schemes that are going on. Nowhere they have been discriminated. No Muslim has ever had to felt that, he has been kept out of that some scheme, or have been kept out. Whether Awas Yojana or drinking water or gas connection or Jandan Yojana, that specifically a community has been targeted. And the fact that measures like triple talaq was taken, this is also, made some rethink. Rethink among the Muslim sections, because who feel that they need not fall into this so-called secular, quote-unquote, politics of these parties. So there is a fear among those parties which have wanted that the Muslim voter should not undergo any, you know, a change in terms of her choice. So that is why I
Shekharji,
think the ban, yeah,
no, go ahead. Finish your thoughts. I thought you're
yeah,
done.
yeah. No, that's why the probably the ban was to prevent any scope for this documentary being used as a fresh ammunition for communal tension.
Uh, viewers, all those Muslim brothers and sisters who are watching this program, you should consider yourself lucky that you live in India. I'll tell you an incident that has happened very recently. You know that India has gone to the help of the Sri Lankans, right? You all know that. India has put in thousands of crores as aid. I mean, the value of it. One of the requests that was made by the Sri Lankan government, I am told, was 500,000 pressure cookers. I don't know why pressure cookers suddenly went out of vogue, but Indian government supplied these 500,000 cookers. Imagine their surprise when they come to know that not a single cooker has made its way to the northern part of Sri Lanka. I mean, this is Ranil Wickremesinghe. I don't know when he's going to answer how they did this, because this is not the first time they have done this thing. Any aid that comes from India seems to be directed only at some parts and not the others. So why I am saying this is, it's a matter that Sri Lanka and India has to sort it out. I'm sure Dr. Jaishankar in his recent visit did highlight this problem and say you have to spread this thing equally among your population. You cannot discriminate one against the other. At least understand the minorities in India. You guys are not being discriminated. This is a Hindu Rashtra where everybody is equal. Please understand this. Anyway, my rant done. Next question, sir. Rahul Gandhi. Now his trip is winding its way through Jammu and Kashmir. First of all, Mr. Digvijay shoots his mouth off. Then Jairam Ramesh rushes in and stops him from completing his thoughts. And then he says something else. And Rahul Gandhi himself is making some self-goals. Can I capture it for us from the time he entered Jammu and Kashmir? What has been happening, Shekharji?
Well, sir, it appears Digvijay has taken Supari to completely, finish the Congress. Otherwise, why should he say something which was used to the hilt by the BJP against the Congress in 2019? And there are other leaders, after even Rahul Gandhi said it is a personal view, I don't agree with that. You have another leader called Rashid, who is also again saying yes, supporting the Digvijay. I mean, Rahul, if friends like that with such seniors around him, Rahul Gandhi better watch out, because they are all walking time bombs. You do not know when they will shoot their mouth. And sir, other thing which is happening in Jammu Kashmir, I mean, we have been seeing, ever since he entered, he's now started keeping company of those very people whose presence is going to affect Congress other parts. Sir, removal of Article 370 was a very big change for Jammu Kashmir. I mean, this has been, this is completely changed the dynamics in that region. Now, the question that is being asked, there is a lot of things undone, unfinished. The Hindu Pandits continue to be in a state of fear. There are selective targeted attacks on Hindus who have gone there to work. Now, all these things are there, but the situation is definitely an improvement to what it was pre-Article 370. Because the kind of crackdown that has happened on Hawala transactions, the kind of money, the trails leading to all these leaders, the separatists and mainstream parties. I mean, they were mainstream parties during the day and, extremist leaders in the night. All these, nexuses have been broken. Now, at a time like this, why should the Congress party entertain, leaders like, Mehbooba Mufti and or even Omar Abdullah? Sir, these national conference leaders have lost their shade in the valley. And at a time like this, to go there and today of all, he has talked about, that outsiders are coming there. Yeah, the local business has been taken over by outsiders. So I do not know whether Digvijay has taken Supari or Rahul Gandhi has taken Supari. This is not good news for the Congress, because at this rate, the Congress, being a mainstream political party, is leaving the stream. And that too midstream. You have an election coming up. And I mean, with this, what is that Bharat Jodo is all about? Sir, other thing. Sir, when he left Punjab and he was entering Jammu Kashmir, he was advised to avoid large areas, large sections of southern Kashmir, which is a hotbed of extremism, to be very careful and to try to travel in a vehicle. But then, as usual, they don't never follow the security, advice. And then what happened? And same thing that they complained in Delhi also. First they said we would take a particular route to go to RaGa. Then the police had to finally let them. Then they complained there was lack of security. And here I believe the people who provide that inner ring, they were overwhelmed because suddenly there was a lot of crowd coming that came with Omar Abdullah. And Rahul Gandhi got panicky, wondering whether there is some plan in this, why suddenly there is a surge of crowd. But at the same time, sir, the Yatra is losing its impact. I mean, losing its even publicity quotient. Because there is nothing new happening there except that it has entered Kashmir. And we already know that Congress chose not to unfurl the national flag at Lal Chowk. They said, no, this is an RSS place. Because Murli Manohar Joshi had done it in 1992, 91. So we don't want to choose the same place. We would rather do it at the PCC office probably. Or at a place probably where all the delegates will reach there. So the whole idea is there's so much of confusion. And with the Yatra ending in the next 3 days, I'm just wondering what will be the Rahul Gandhi's next plan. Because his sister is undertaking what is called 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪𝙥𝙤, in the state capitals. Even that is not picking up much stream. And the proof of the pudding is going to be Karnataka elections. Because where the Yatra spends a lot of days there, and the Karnataka leaders also spend a lot of money for this Yatra. We are going to see what is going to be the impact. Now, I think, sir, one person who is very unhappy with this Bharat Jodo Yatra is Mallikarjun Kharge. Because you find him sulking now. I hear that he's very upset that all that focus he would get, he thought as Congress president, that was just it was only limited to the day he was declared elected. Since then, it is an assertive Rahul Gandhi who is managing the Congress show. And this whole Jodo Yatra was all about Rahul Gandhi. And Kharge's fears are, what happens if Congress doesn't do well in Karnataka? They may look for Bali, and he could be the scapegoat. So that fear is already coming to Kharge. And I believe Kharge, he has been telling some people that he thought that he could be a Manmohan Singh, that, they will making a full-fledged Congress president. In fact, next month, mid-February, they are going to have their AICC plenary session in Raipur, where Kharge is to be formally, endorsed by the AICC plenary, which is the mega gathering, to endorse him as the Congress president. But with the renewed and revived interest in himself and in politics, Rahul Gandhi definitely is going to play a much bigger role without being assigned any role. And one will see it when the budget session starts in Parliament on January the 31st. Because he may want to make a statement on his Yatra in Parliament, of what he saw in India, what has happened.
It would be very interesting. Viewers, now we are going into the questions, and some of you have asked about Shekharji's comments on the Hindenburg documents. Tomorrow at 8 p.m., I'll be joining Dr. Subramanian Swamy, and we are going to look at the entire Adani empire. And it's all going to be data-based. And do join us for that, because that's going to have a little bit more homework done. Everything is happening in a hurry right now. And I don't want to sway away from the topics that we've already talked about. But you will get your answers tomorrow at 8 p.m. IST. So let's now take some questions. Shekharji, we are going to go through our questions. The first question is from Venkataraman. Why is that instead of going to Supreme Court, the government chose to ban the video? Wouldn't it have been a stronger case if the government shot from the Supreme Court shoulders? Good question. All questions are good. Never mind. It is just that, never mind. Go ahead, sir.
No, Venkatraman sir, see, this is said, the BBC is a foreign entity. I mean, the Supreme Court's writ doesn't run in UK. So therefore, taking a matter to Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court would ask, you are the executive, you have to decide, you take whatever action, because we will only examine a matter if somebody challenges that and comes to us. So I don't think here is a matter where the Supreme Court would have intervened, because it does never shows inclination to intervene in such matters where its jurisdiction does not extend beyond the borders of India. So therefore, I don't see purpose why Supreme Court should have should have been approached. But definitely, one can see that, as I mentioned earlier, the whole idea was that this should not be used in a bigger way, or politically, by banning something, you get more focus on it. Probably that could have been the hidden agenda of the BJP people, so that people talk about it, and it goes to the advantage of the BJP in a year when there are 9 elections.
Next question from Gaurav Chaudhary. Is BJP gaining ground in Karnataka and Congress had its campaign peak high early?
Well, the BJP is trying to recover from the damages it had suffered in the last few months in Karnataka. But at the same time, as far as Congress is concerned, somehow I get the feedback from Congress leaders in Karnataka. They are not too sure that this election is theirs for asking. I mean, they feel that there are several hiccups, there are several problems, and okay, the BJP may be on a back foot on several issues, but definitely they are trying to rectify it. For instance, sir, I am told that patta distribution in Belgavi recently, where the Prime Minister had gone to give it to Belgavi, that Lambada tribals, that has rattled some of the Congress leaders. So you hear them saying this is our plan, which BJP is implementing. The pattas have been given to them, which was pending. And Bommai, in his own way, has been trying to, make up for the kind of problems that his colleagues have been creating for him. And he happens to be the only bright spot for the BJP. Though outside Karnataka, people think that Bommai doesn't have that, that persona or that kind of impact. But the problem, sir, in Karnataka, BJP has a lot of anti-income issues when it comes to MLAs and ministers. But at the same time, in the Congress, there is no way you can see DK Shivkumar and 𝙤𝙬𝙗𝘓 actually sitting down and agreeing for some kind of a common course for the Congress to come to power, because 𝙤𝙬𝙗𝘓 thinks that he can, without even DK Shivkumar's role, because that's the only way he can ensure that he is CM. At the same time, DK Shivkumar, having underwritten the cost of several things, including Bharat Jodo Yatra, your MVA government MLAs being kept in, if you recall in 2019, all those expenditure of, carting the MLAs here and there to various resorts. DK Shivkumar has been an ATM of the Congress, willing to, offer his financial resources whenever Rahul Gandhi has directed him. In fact, I was told recently the Karnataka leaders were told to reach Jammu Kashmir also. But some of the leaders, they took refuge under the cold wave there, saying we can't withstand that wave with that weather. Rather, they knew what kind of demands were being expected from them, imposed on them.
Viewers, we can't take any more questions. I have seen a few left now. We will have to stop at 55 or 56-minute mark. We have about 20 minutes to go. We'll try to rifle through the questions. Next question from Shenbagamuttu Rahul 27. Why is Kerala BJP so weak in the state? Any possibility for a new leader?
Well, the Kerala BJP, sir, the Kerala itself is a challenge for BJP because of the demography. We have talked about it earlier. The demography is such that BJP, being seen as a Hindu party, has a difficult time in Kerala. Apart from the fact that Kerala BJP is also faction-ridden. There are too many factions, and those problems are not easy to go by, because an average Malayali, we all know, is very political and very shrewd, and if they are in politics, they are even more. So you have groups, you have camps, Congress had a very open camp, the Antony group and Karnataka group, the A group and K group, during those heydays of the Congress. So the managing issues there has been a problem, but at the same time, with the feedback we get that the Congress is diminishing, you're already seeing people are looking to Shashi Tharoor as the new Congress leader, and somebody who can actually revive the Congress. You can understand the desperation among the Congress rank and file that they see Shashi Tharoor as a leader. They feel that all these oldies like Chandi, Ramesh Chanitala, they feel that they can no longer help the party to come back to power, having lost the last elections.
Sir, my 2 cents, the Kerala BJP needs to, put their best known face as their party leader. And they don't do that because that person, rightly or wrongly, is identified with Dr. Subramanian Swamy. I'm talking about T.G. Mohandas. He's a well-known TV personality. Sometimes he had to fight 1 against 10 panelists where everybody used to gang up on the BJP. And he's not even an active member in BJP. The others are all dummies. They don't have any clue of how to run a party, how to, see, you said it, sir. This is an intellectual audience. Intellectual audience. They are educated, but I'm not sure they are literate. I know they'll hate me for this. They'll flame me also. That's okay. I don't think very highly of their intellect, but that is because of the way they vote. Anyway, but if you have to win over Kerala's voters, you need to be at an intellectually high platform where you can take any argument of both the sides, the Democratic Front as well as the Left Democratic Front, and beat them with data. And he can do that single-handedly. And where is he? Poor man is just retired, and nobody wants to talk to him. This is the quality problem. If he comes out, then with him, a lot of the similar minded people will come where you cannot even have a whiff of corruption against him. You don't want that. Why? Oh, because he's close to Swamy. So what is so toxic about it? If Swamy speaks the truth, what is your problem? Like, for example, now in the Adani case, anyway, let's talk about Adani tomorrow. Let's go to the next question. Rick Sanchez wants to know, what is your take on Mulayam Yadav getting Padma Award? And do you personally think he deserved it? Thank you.
Well, sir, these awards are timed with, rather tinged with political purpose and political objective. Now, in this particular case, Mulayam Singh Yadav, in fact, many people who support the BJP and some of the hardliners are very upset that they chose to give an award to someone who had turned police on, car sevaks. There is a lot of, I would say, a negative reaction among sections of BJP's hardcore voters. But I think what the government had in mind, or the BJP had in mind, or Prime Minister had in mind was that undoubtedly Mulayam Singh Yadav represents that generation of leaders who commanded a tremendous following among the OBC classes, particularly the Yadav community. For the Yadav community, he is an icon. And BJP has been, cultivating this community, even as it sheds that Brahmin Baniya image. So therefore, I think this is an award for the community he represents, the leadership he provided to that community, and the emancipation that community felt in Mulayam Singh's political, saga. I think this is an award for that. See, sir, for that reason, Sharad Pawar was also given a Padma Award. I mean, after that, we know what happened and what is the shape of NCP today after the raids on their leaders. So I think giving an award itself is more of a political recognition rather than submitting to either his politics or to his ways and means which he conducted his politics. The late leader, I mean.
Next question, please. Ruben Loganathan wants to know why government of India is not going after the leftist groups who are causing riots in universities and who might cause greater riots before the G20 summit.
Sir, at least in Delhi and where the BJP ruled states, you are seeing some police action. But in other states, like say in Thiruvananthapuram or in Kolkata, where there are non-BJP governments there, they don't want to curb it because it suits their own vote bank politics to, again, fuel this issue. So that is why you are not seeing a universal, a common approach to this. But these groups are waiting in the wings for a long time because they thrive only on unrest and anarchy. That's very clear. We saw during the Shine Bug movement. There are other occasions. They are just hoping that something will come handy, and this year can be used to create uncertainty and disrupt peace in the campuses. This is what they have been doing. And of course, the warnings have gone out from the Home Ministry to the states also to handle this very carefully, because at no stage this should be allowed to go out of hand, which is what these groups want to achieve.
Next question from P. Bharatam. Shekhar I see desperation from Congress, TMC, BRS, AAP, and left. These parties bringing down Modi and BJP, they're all going against India. Gandhi says outsiders are. What is the question, Bharatam? I don't know what you are seeing. Maybe I'll frame the question reading this. Is the opposition desperate?
Definitely. One can already see it, sir. This is because so far the opposition has not been able to, put together an agenda of unity and action against the BJP, the run up to the Lok Sabha elections 2024. They are still operating in silos. They are still thinking of how to maximize their gains in their respective strongholds, and all this talk of joint opposition against the BJP doesn't seem to take off. And this year, when you are going to have 9 assembly elections, each of these elections are going to be important. Of course, you are seeing a Congress-left alliance in Tripura. This is unheard of in Tripura's political history, sir. Two people who were rivals, who between them ruled for a number of years, are today forced to join hands. The same thing could happen in Bengal. And that's the reason why Mamata is very, very upset with the Congress. That if in Bengal also CPM and Congress openly join hands, that means it's a problem for her also, and she would treat them similarly. So one can see that, sir. Or take for instance Bihar, sir. Bihar has been seeing all kinds of things. Leaders talking about against the Ramcharitra Manas, and they don't know what issue to talk about. And there is an open revolt against Nitish Kumar from the JDU leadership. You can see that. You have Upendra Kushwaha, who is openly questioning Nitish Kumar. Even before the April deadline, when one expects Nitish probably would, anoint Tejasvi Yadav in his place and then set out on his own Yatra. There's a lot of things happening in Bihar. This all goes to show that the picture is not complete, and one can't see how in the next 9 to 12 months how they are going to come on a common platform to take on Modi. And all these survey reports, which definitely still give an edge to Modi and to the BJP.
Next question, please. M. Kumar wants to know. So Rahul will not contest from Wayanad again?
Well, this is a talk that is very, very, I would say, very strong, particularly in the south. People are talking whether Rahul Gandhi will shift from Wayanad to, say, a constituency in Tamil Nadu, if DMK can guarantee full support. Maybe from Nagargoil or some other place where, because DMK will remain an ally of the Congress, sir, though Stalin no longer thinks that Rahul Gandhi is a prime minister material. But definitely one can see that there is disquiet in the Congress camp about Wayanad, because CPM is very particular. Pinarayi Vijayan is very particular that Wayanad is taken back from the Congress. So I think these are going to be very difficult times for Rahul Gandhi to choose his own constituency, because some people try to float stories he may return to Amethi. I doubt, because he hasn't been there since the last defeat he tasted in 2019.
Next question, please. Raghunandan wants to know, Anglo Saxons will not like to see India become confident, and BBC documentary was UK State Commission. Your view?
Sir, one doesn't know if it is, I don't think it was State Commission, but definitely there are, forces, I would say, which are not very happy the direction that India is taking in its economic, growth. And one can see that there is all this talk of Atmanirbharta, self-reliance, and all these things is upsetting some of the cartels, who are worried that if India is growing at the pace which is growing, and when the West is having problems in the fear of recession and all that, So how do we, block this? And also, this particular episode shows, countries like the United Kingdom, under what conduct of diplomacy, you send a team to investigate riots. You send your, and Jack Straw, the former foreign secretary, saying we got up somebody to investigate this. Who the hell are you? They, and I mean, this only shows that it is not the colonial mindset, it is that sheer arrogance that has come out in this. And that is why, sir, there are more British members of parliament, maybe some of them of Indian origin, who are speaking it out against this whole thing. Because what is this you have done? Because, sir, today, sir, this is not 2002, because from 2002 to 2014, till he became prime minister, Modi was treated as a pariah. Visa was refused by America, UK, and several Western countries. And later, you have seen that how things have changed. And I mean, his first visit to the West, his first visit to America, UK, we have seen the kind of, and no matter if, even if the governments have changed, the presidents have changed, the flow in that relationships, which is largely due to economic reasons and strategic reasons, they've got to accept the fact that here is a person who has got two huge mandate, and he could be well on his way to get a third huge mandate. Now, at this time, there are people of certain inclination who wants to show that whatever Modi has achieved, that has some illegitimate aspect. Basically, it is to bring illegitimacy to the mandate that he has got. You find all these things being done, and some of this could be done in the living rooms. I mean, in in Delhi, and then exported. These ideas are exported for people to pursue. This is a very common thing, but they are no longer making impact, excepting serving the interest of the political parties, including the BJP, as we mentioned in the beginning.
Yes, indeed. PKPB wants to know, just my observations. BJP is knee deep in corruption in Karnataka. The public perception is not very good. But people are not seeing an alternative in Congress and JDS. What are your thoughts?
So definitely, sir, this issue of corruption has affected the BJP big time in Karnataka. And among the anti-incumbency issues that is plaguing the BJP, this is one aspect. But then the whole problem, as has been mentioned by PKBB, that there are no choices for the voters. The JDS is too bad. The Congress people know what the Congress ministers, how they were constantly required to cough up resources to the central command. I mean, read the 10 Janpath. From where were they giving? Where was Siddaramaiah delivering those resources to Delhi? How he could have delivered? Unless, something they were doing something there. So, this, at least, sir, Bommai, of all people, the present chief minister, who replaced Yadurappa, at least his image is relatively, cleaner than other politicians.
Next question, please. Subramanian Krishnan wants to know, with the market tanking due to Adani report, did somebody make a lot of dollars?
Well, sir, this whole episode, of course, that hedge fund which has done investigation, which has its own record, but definitely, there are people who are saying that the growth of Adani, the very fact that, you have seen such a phenomenal growth of a particular corporate group under one person and during a particular period, has raised questions. Now, the exposure to this whole thing is, if all those allegations are true, and that is the reason why the shares are tanking. I mean, if it goes logical end, maybe this is going to affect our own banks, particularly our public institutions like LIC and State Bank of India, which invested a lot. But from what I gather, sir, this is not going in that direction that is being feared or being projected, because there are other projects in which Adanis are involved. I think there is not such a problem where suddenly there is going to be. But the question which is being asked is, have they followed the ethical route to this kind of growth? Because the way the shares were pushed up by shell companies, all these are coming out, and all these are an investigation. And as you mentioned, you are going to do a detailed thing for our viewers tomorrow. I think they are going to get answers to several questions on their mind on this issue.
Yes, indeed. And M. Kumar wants to know, will the Indus Water Treaty be abrogated?
Well, India has been making, sending signals to this effect. Look, the way the treaty was signed up then, and the kind of water requirement then and today, things have changed, and there is a need to revisit this treaty. Definitely, we have made it clear that even sharing of waters will be an issue linked to how much the Pakistan is willing to forego the terrorism as a state tool, because this was talked about earlier after Balakot also, that we need to look at this treaty also to pressurize Pakistan not to pursue the path of encouraging terrorism against India.
Well, my 2 cents on that is, first, India needs to fix the Yamuna Sutlej link canal. I mean, Haryana has invested a lot of money, brought the canal all the way up to Punjab's border, and Punjab doesn't want to do its part. It doesn't matter which government seems to come into power, because that is key in trying to make use of the excess waters that you might get, because you might not be doing, like right now, the excess water just goes into Pakistan. You don't need to do that. So there are things that have to be done. I don't know when this government is going to tell the Aam Aadmi Party government in Punjab, "Ek to theek kaam karo." Anyway, my 2 cents. Raghavan SV wants to know, can Modi depute foreign services across the world to give warning to all countries using international laws? Stop UK and USA or China like anticipation. They all try to destabilize this year.
Well, I think that message has already gone out. I mean, I've been going out rather in all the interactions India has had with most favored nations and most friendly countries is as to the dangers that India faces and how they should not encourage forces that are inimical to the Indian interests. That message has been going out, and whether it is one-to-one meetings or in the trips undertaken by our Foreign Minister Jaishankar.
Thank you very much, Shekhar ji. And viewers, whenever I turn my head away, it's not that I'm not listening to what my guest is saying. It is just that I have a lot of data coming on multiple monitors. And whenever something alert comes in, I take a look at it to understand if it is something that is significant. That's all. No disrespect to Shekhar ji or any other guest that comes on our channel. Thank you all for your wonderful questions, very pinpointed, precise, and truth-seeking. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Shekhar ji, namaskar, and looking forward to seeing you again next week, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.